What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain and dad, Garrett Morlang. And here in the virtual studio is the one, the only, JJ Purdom.
What's up, guys? It's good to see you guys. It's good to be here. And I don't want to keep it secret anymore. I am now the number one fan of Garrett Morlang's OnlyFans. Huge supporter of what you're doing over there, man. I think that you need to be plugged. I know a lot of people are watching some of your content. And I know it's a little risque and stuff like that, but I love what you're doing. Very proud of you, buddy.
I was really wanting to keep that on the DL. You know, I like to keep my public personas. I have reveals right here on the show. I have many public personas, and I like to keep them separate. You know, I don't like them. I don't like worlds colliding, worlds meshing. So I don't. You know, I guess here it is.
You're saying there
Surprise.
are many different versions of yourself, huh?
Yeah.
That's so weird because one of your videos on there is actually called Worlds Colliding. So that's why I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, Garrett. Okay.
Yeah, I was really hoping you wouldn't bring it up here on the show because that's one of those
the people deserve to see your photos in that Metal Gear sneaking suit, Garrett.
Yeah. And
they
for those of
deserve
you,
it.
Audio listeners right now, if you guys couldn't see the video when I said Worlds Colliding about his video, I held two fingers and poked them together and it was like two swords crossing.
Also joining us tonight in the virtual studio is the king of golf himself, Adrian the Homeboy Holmes. What's up, Adrian? How's
Good
it
evening,
going?
fellas. I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Good to have you. I like mixing up each week. I know sometimes I introduce you first, sometimes JJ. I like to keep you guys on your toes.
I'm ready. I'm adaptable.
Yeah, how's your guys' weeks? I feel like sometimes we talk throughout the week and sometimes we don't. This is one of those where I didn't hear from you. How's the health? How's the job? How's the kids? How's the wife? Adrian. No, I know you have all those things.
Well, I can answer most of those. A couple of those you might have to leave me out, but no, it's been a pretty good week. It's just been pretty crazy at work.
Your video game wife.
Yes, of course. So me and Miss Lockhart are doing very well. Very healthy relationship. Just she's more beautiful every day.
That's so great to hear. So great.
Yeah. So I don't know. My week has been pretty good. It's been pretty busy at work. It's been crazy. Like I was telling you guys, I work with animals, so a lot of people got pets during the pandemic and then all of a sudden collectively realized, oh, we don't just sit here and look at the pets. We have to take care of them.
Yeah,
like they get sick. We have to take them to the doctor. Is that part of this deal? So that's kind of what I've been dealing with the past few months.
That's hard. That's frustrating. Yeah, I feel like I have quite a few friends who went out and got pets. And I was just like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I mean, in the long run, like, it actually has been good. Like, surprisingly, the friends that I didn't think would be good at taking care of the pets have done a great job. So I'm like, oh, whew, that's good. But I'm sure, but it's one of those things where I was like, oh, my friends aren't the only ones who are doing this. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are, and a lot of people aren't as capable as my friends, unfortunately. Yeah.
Garrett, I'm not sure if you remember, not all your friends are really great at having pets because there was a time when you had a friend who had a pet dog and you babysat the dog, and when they all went to the store, the dog bit you, and you got that huge infection in your hand, and you almost lost your hand, dude. So, like, the way I see it, like, dude, yeah, maybe your friends shouldn't be picking out animals and stuff like that. Oh, no, Shiza's really good. Wait, doesn't Shiza mean she? Doesn't it? I mean,
why?
That's poop in German, isn't it? Yeah. That's the same dog that almost bit your hand off, dude.
Why do you keep bringing up all these old terrible stories of my past? For last week it was the van story. This week it's how I almost got died from an infection.
I'm trying to
it
share
colors in your character. It gives you a backstory. Okay,
exactly, and it's some of the stuff you'll see on his OnlyFans, guys. So make sure to check that stuff out. Garrett,
when they're at your character select screen and you're there in whatever pose you're in, you don't want a blank description right there, do you?
Right.
Come on now.
So now it can say hit a bicyclist in a van, almost died from an infection from a dog bite.
And something else happened to you this week, you said, right?
Oh,
you got attacked by something?
I don't know. Do I want to share it now or share it during what you're playing?
I mean,
because it happened.
Look, this
it
is
happened
the perfect...
it happened while I was okay. Fine. It happened while I was playing a game, so I thought I'd share it during what you're playing, but that's fine. Okay. So here's the deal. Minding my own business in my office here, playing some Phasmophobia with my brother last night. It was great. We love Phasmophobia. It was a great time. My brother-in-law Toby joined us for a match. It was his first time playing. Real spooky game. It was a blast. We love that game. Hunt and Ghost. It's like Ghostbusters, but without the busting part. So it's just Ghost. But I am chilling. Well, a little on edge because we're getting ready to go into this room that we knew there was a ghost in. But suddenly I just shifted my leg a little bit, moved my foot over, and I felt this little imagine this is my my ankle here is just a little
not that big. You didn't.
I was like, no, you gotta be kidding me. Like, what? At first I was like, well, it's happened before. Sometimes moths get in, and because it's just a really crappy old barn door, I was like, maybe it's just a moth flying around. It bumped into my leg. And then I shifted again. I felt it again. I'm like, no. Just like lightning, moths don't strike the same place twice. That's not how that works. So I slowly backed up. And meanwhile, my character in game, you can't pause Phasmophobia. We're just standing in this haunted house. At any moment I could die. And my brother and I'm like, no, oh no, freaking out. And my brother's like, what's going on? Did he get you? Thinking I'm talking about the game. I'm like, Jake. There's a giant spider on my leg right now.
It was a spider?
It was a giant camel spider. So not technically a spider. I think they're in the scorpion family or something. But no, it was a big dog. So I think another name for it is wind scorpion. It has a bunch of different names. Google it. It's nasty looking.
You're a pest control professional, man.
Dude,
did you scream?
This is true. Why did that shake you up?
I 100% scream. I'm terrified of spiders. And you know what? And you knew that too, Jada. You know that. John knows it. My boss, get this. I was on the job for 2 or 3 weeks, and I told him, I'm like, dude, I don't do spider. If they're up high and I just got to spray from a distance, I'm fine. But anything up close and personal, I don't like. 2 weeks in, he sent me this house. He's like, they have some black widows inside, which is not normal.
Thanks.
That's not a normal thing. So I'm like, that's already seems a little weird. I show up. It wasn't just a couple black widows. It was haunted mansion in there, hundreds of black widows. As I'm spraying, they're crawling out from underneath stuff, dying, and I'm trying to crawl towards me. Anyways, back to this story.
You did this to us.
This freaking camel spider is just chilling on my ankle, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here perfectly still, and maybe it'll crawl away. I'm not gonna move because I could see it had big teeth on it. I'm like, no, I don't really want to get bit. I'm good. I'll just sit here all night. So I'm sitting there, and it's not moving. It's just chilling. And then I notice the front legs kind of go up like a defensive thing, and I'm like, I'm not even moving. I'm just sitting here, leave me alone. Also,
so what powers did you get?
Well,
yeah, no doubt.
None yet. I mean, maybe it's a 48-hour thing. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up with them. I don't know. But no, I started crawling up my leg, and now I'm like, no, I gotta act now. Now is the time. It's going up my pant leg, so I gotta stop this. So I smacked on the ground, beat the thing with my shoe, and picked it up. And it was so thick. Some spiders, you step on it, it's just pancakes flat. This thing, I squished it, and it was dead, but it was so beefy, it didn't completely smush. It was still whole. Even after I lifted my foot, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This.
For audio listeners,
passed up.
For audio listeners, he held his hand apart to show the size of it. And just so you know, it's what I technically know is at least a full girthy 6 inches. The way you held that, it's the way I described that. The way that you showed that. That's a good, solid.
About 4.5 inches.
No, that's 6 inches, Garrett. That is a full, solid 6 inches where you just held your fingers together.
I would be more justified in my fear if it was 6 inches, but I'll be honest. I'm being honest here. I'm not going to tell a fisherman's tale. I'm not going to lie to you all. It was maybe about 4 inches, which is still about 4 inches too big for any spider. So
that's what I'm saying.
You passed up on being the wind scorpion because you were scared of getting bit.
Dude. That's a pretty dope superhero name. Now,
exactly. You could have had it.
Should I open my door right now and see if I get bit on show?
It's too late. You already. That was the one. That was the one that escaped the lab that had the radiation on it. You goofed. It's over.
Dang it.
No, you know what?
That's sad.
Yours was
That's
cooler.
sad.
That was a wind scorpion that was cursed with like an ancient Egyptian. I don't know. Either super
way,
mega magic curse that like turns whoever it bites into a
if it's a curse, it'd probably turn me into a mummy or
war
something.
hero, and you goofed it all up.
I ruined it. Dang it. Well, that's fine.
And Garrett, about
yes.
that story real quick about last week about the hit and run that you did. Yeah, apparently I shouldn't have told that story because you now currently have you have a little bit of an issue if you were to try to go back to Stanislaus County. So try to do yourself a favor. Don't go there.
Okay.
For the next couple of years.
Sounds good.
So yeah, apparently you're not supposed to tell stories on the podcast when it's online.
At least those.
Listen to it in 19 countries.
At least those
so.
ones. I think it was my dad was like, well, they did just move to San Diego, so I mean, there's probably there's a reason why they moved down there. I was like, hey, I didn't say it. So yeah, there's the story. And now anytime I feel anything on my leg, I just assume there's a spider. So if I look down at any time during the show, it's because I'm checking for spiders, because this office is chock full of them apparently, and I'm terrified of them all. All right. Man, it was horrific reliving that moment from last night, but I think it's time we get on with the show here. Today, we're talking about how Blue Box trolled the world. Rockstar is working on a big remaster, and Game Pass might not end up everywhere. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producer, Toby Dalton. Big Toby D. And
what?
What? I can't go. You
guys
get
to rephrase that. You want to rephrase that, sir?
You guys
get to go.
You guys get to make nicknames, but I don't get
Talking about his OnlyFans again. Don't do that, Garrett. Come on, man. Apparently, Big Toby D is gonna be on the OnlyFans page. What the hell's wrong with you, Garrett? This is a family-friendly show, man.
Not anymore.
You have just gone totally blue. Wow.
I mean, after the last 2 weeks, really, we've been pushing that line a lot lately. Shout out to our Super Gamer sponsors, Bill Bird, Julie Bates, Brand Fox. Sorry.
Look, man, you the one talking about Toby's Big D. We didn't say nothing, okay?
Nothing at all.
All right.
Brent Fox, Daniel James, and Mama Mare. You can support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, just like these awesome people did. And you can get to the show early and ad-free.
And you get pictures of Big Toby D.
Finish strong.
You guys, it's just me.
You said it.
I know. I said it. It's your guys' faces. It's looking back at your faces.
Pull it together.
Oh my gosh. Patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can support us over there, where you can get episodes early and ad-free, and you can get bonus shows that are exclusive to Patreon, just like Super Gamer Book Club. The first month we did Undertale, second month we did Narita Boy, and this next month coming out in September will be Hades, featuring Nate Fletcher, aka Boba Fletch. That show is hosted by Adrian Holmes, the man, the myth, the legend. It's a fantastic show. I really enjoy I've been guesting on it the last couple episodes as well, and look forward to that. If you have Patreon, and if you don't, well, it's just $1 a month, but we'll talk more about that later. Now it's time to check the mailbag.
All right, Garrett. Where's my?
I just looked in the chat. Toby's in the chat. Toby's in the chat. He's like, Big D, baby.
See, he gets it.
Dude, that's awesome.
All right.
Amazing.
All right.
Do you like my PlayStation mug? That's right.
No, I don't.
I'm a Sony pony through and through. For 1 week, I had the Xbox Live.
He's gonna golf it over to you.
No, I'm not gonna golf it. I'm getting it ready, Garrett.
Got the catcher's mitt.
You gotta suggest pitches to me. I need some signals.
I've never played baseball. Are you kidding me? I play video games.
He's like, I never did sports. Come on, look at me. I never did any.
Like the show, none of them.
No.
Oh boy! Here. Dude, here's just a lob. It's the ceremonial
He paints
lob.
Warhammer figures, Adrian. He paints
There you go. Good grief! I was gonna pitch it to you. You were gonna catch it.
You would have dropped it for sure. Or you'd have beamed him in the eye with it, you know.
Okay, no. Here's
you
another.
blew that one.
You want more story from my bio in that game one day? Here you go. Here's another story. My senior year of high school, I played on the men's softball team. I lived overseas, by the way, so that's why it was men's softball, because they could, if they bought softball equipment, both the men and women's team could use it because it's they didn't have the money to buy baseball equipment for the guys. So men's softball team. I did make it, but only because they needed bodies. And the only thing I was basically used for is when they just needed like one more run, they knew they could put me out there and I would guaranteed get pegged by the ball and they'd get a free walk. Bases loaded, get Garrett out there so he gets pegged by a ball and get the walk. Yeah, that was my claim to fame there. All right, let's check this mail here.
Let's salvage what's left of the mailbag this week.
Sweats writes in, and I like how consistent Sweats is. It's fantastic.
Killing it.
He also,
Absolutely.
you know what? Shoot, he answered a question we had last week, and I did wanna. I don't know if you guys saw that, so I wanted to reference it real quick because you remember he asked about the RuneScape. So I wanted to share with you all because we were like, okay, we picked an option. What does that mean? Like, okay, both said that we wanted, or we usually went fishing or mining coal or chopping wood, stuff like that.
JJ went straight to the mine or to the monster caverns.
Yeah.
Is that what I did? I don't even remember what I said.
So he said, he said for like me and Adrian, means you're goal oriented and want to be successful and will do the mundane to reach your goals. He said, I was slaying in the wild, pure chaos. I'm the worst. That's all he said about it. And I think JJ picked the same option. So there you go. You're just pure chaos and the worst, apparently.
Apparently. That sounds about right.
All right. His question this week is, I am shameless about Viva Pinata. And the first Xbox 360 game I hit that 1,000 gamer score on. It's a fantastic game. What is your guilty pleasure game? What is that game that you know you shouldn't have enjoyed as much as you did, but are shameless about enjoying it, or ashamed about enjoying it? I guess I'm not going to tell you how to feel about it. So, what's a game that you like got super into that you're like, man, this game shouldn't have grabbed me, and it just did? Whether it's a genre thing or even like this game isn't a game I should like. I got it like you said, shameful about it or whatever.
Yeah, because guilty pleasure implies that it's not a good thing, right? So it's not a good game necessarily.
Yeah.
Or it's not a genre that you like, but it's something that broke through.
So not something that's up your alley that like really grabbed you and you're shocked by. You guys have any good picks there?
Yep. I have a game called Clock Tower that came out on, I think it was the original PlayStation, and then I think Part 2 came out on PlayStation 2. Clock Tower was a game where it was like a point and click, and it was early on in the PlayStation life. I was in high school. It kind of hit perfectly. Garrett, this would have been just after you were born, and basically it was you're getting chased after like in a like a, I don't remember, like a church or something, and this cavernous building and
a clock tower, maybe.
Yeah, okay, sure. And then it might have been, I don't really know, there's a clock tower in there, but basically like this little dude is like dragging one foot behind himself, and he's got these huge hedge clipper shears, and like he's just kind of like walking and like clipping these things like he's gonna cut you, right? And he'll leave little notes for you, like, and you'll come along and like find these little notes, and then like you'll try to hide from him. You'll hear him coming, and you've got to like point and click and hide behind like a bathroom stall and hope that he doesn't come in. And then you'll see his feet, and you'll hear him like shh, 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 walk in. And it's one of those games where I tried to play it not that long ago. It's unplayable. It's a horrible game, but I remember it being great and gory, and it's like, no, it's really bad. It's really not a great game. but it's one of those, like, I don't think anybody heard about this game, but my brother and I loved it when we were kids. Just thought it was fantastic.
Interesting. Yeah, I just Googled it real quick. It actually looks like it could be pretty fun. It's probably, I'm sure it's not great, but it's like, oh yeah, it looks like it could be a fun one. There's sequels here. There's a Clock Tower 3 that came out on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty popular.
Okay.
With my little group of friends.
All right,
I'm trying
Adrian.
to noodle on it. Go ahead, Garrett.
Okay, so for me, this is an old PS1 game as well. This is a game that just was goofy as all get out, and it isn't something that like should have been up my alley at all. But for whatever reason, I was just obsessed with it. I didn't own the game, but my cousin had it, and so whenever I went over there, like I would beg to borrow it, and whenever I went over there, I'd just sit in her room and play it on her PlayStation. She had a TV in her room. Gex Enter the Gecko.
Gex, wow!
I
haven't heard
Gex.
that name in so long.
Loved Gex. It was such a cheesy platformer, like 3D platformer. It's trying to be like, and even that one was trying to even be like kind of Super Mario 64, where you like went into the TVs and like went to these different worlds, kind of like in Mario, you go into the mirrors or the pictures. I mean, and so yeah, it was like such a goofy thing. The humor was so just like random and just crazy. I mean, I think it's a British game too, so it was like very dry British humor in this game, and like lots of innuendos and stuff like that, and it was like such a horrible game for a kid. And dude, I just loved it so much though. It was just so goofy and silly and stupid. The second world was my favorite. The first one was great because it was like cartoon world, so like it literally like straight up rips off like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd. Like you're a gecko and you'd go into cartoon world, and all of a sudden you have a bunny suit on, and then there's a hunter that looks strangely similar to Elmer Fudd that runs around and will try to shoot you and hunt you down. It's just so ridiculous. And the second world was like this haunted mansion, and like the collectibles in the world were like so depending on what world you're in, it had different themes. So like the cartoon world, you pick up carrots and you get so many carrots, you get an extra life or whatever. In the second world, it was like the Jason like hockey mask thing floating around. You'd collect those, and it's like this horror kind of creepy Frankenstein world and stuff. It was cool.
Okay.
So yeah, that's mine. I really enjoyed that game for no reason at all.
My guilty pleasure, I think, is also a PS1 one, and it's controversial depending on who you talk to. I don't know if you guys ever played the first Ape Escape.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It was fine.
Ape Escape? No.
It was fine.
If you go back and play it now, Ape Escape 1 sucks. But it was one of the few games that my brother and I had on PS1. And man, I just remember us like just trucking, just trying to get through to the end. And golly, bro, that game is it's on another level. It's so bad, but I have a soft spot in my heart for it because of it was made back in those days.
Yeah.
The camera is terrible, the controls are bad. It's definitely an early PS1 looking game. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, now that on all fronts it should not.
Wasn't that the first game that required an analog stick? Like because obviously up until then, like PlayStation didn't have analog stick, so like it was. I think that was one of the first games where like the analog stick just came out, and so to like celebrate, they're like, here's Ape Escape, and you have to have an analog controller in order to play.
Which is so stupid because if that's going to be the game that you show off a camera stick for, don't make the camera in it terrible. Why would you do that? They had to have dev kits of this controller. There's no excuse for why this camera is as bad. But I love it regardless.
Yeah. So. My soft spot for it is because it was on the Pizza Hut. I've talked about the Pizza Hut demo 100 times. But
it's a legendary.
It was on there, and that was my first introduction. I was like, I have to get this game. Like this demo's phenomenal.
You know what Sony should do? I'm sure they still have like the ROMs of it. They should put them all together in a pack of those demo discs and sell it on the PlayStation Store.
I would 100% buy all of them, and I'd pay any amount of money I needed to.
Because all those PS1 classics you can buy on the PlayStation Store. So what better way to have demos for them than to do it on the classic Pizza Hut demo discs? You're welcome, Sony.
He's so good. Or just send me the demo disc. If they have some sitting around in like their vault somewhere, I'd love to have a copy.
I'm sure you could find one on eBay for like $10.
Cause I have a working PS1. It'd be so fun to like stream that. Just like this nostalgia of just playing through like old demos again. Oh, so much fun. All right, cool. Next question here is from Sir Prince-A-Lot. He said, you guys are developing your own games. What's the game? But more importantly, who's the musical artist or group that's doing the soundtrack? He said, I'd do something similar to like a Skyrim or Monster Hunter world and have all the music be by Low Roar or, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, but Asgeir. I don't know, Asgeir.
Sounds familiar.
I know them and I listen to them, but honestly, I've never known how to pronounce the name of the band, which is, I don't know how to even pronounce it. But yeah, what about you guys? Do you have any thoughts on what kind of game you would make and who you'd want to make the soundtrack? If you want me to go first, I will go first.
I would make a fighting game, and I would have Darren Korb do the music. Darren Korb, of course, is of Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, Hades fame.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking of like, mine is going to be like Dead or Alive level, where the levels are huge and they're interactive, right? So you're going to have like this level where you're fighting on the mouth of a volcano, and like some epic track is playing in the background and it's making everything way more intense.
That'd be awesome.
Or you're fighting in like a jazz club and he's like making the jazz type of deal where, I don't know, I have a cameo from the character from Transistor in the background singing the song or something like that. Yeah. That would be my game.
That'd be pretty sweet. JJ, you got anything yet? You need a second?
No, actually, I was thinking I would love to see more than a mobile game, but an actual AAA version of Stranger Things. I really like the Stranger Things universe. I like the characters they've come up with, some of the heroes of the story, and the villains as well. I would love to see a game like that come out. As far as like who would write the music, it's really difficult. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. The only person I can think of that is I think of like big orchestral, like big music, but it's not like lyrics or anything like that. And that's John Williams. I just think like big, huge score,
A John Williams detective game, huh? Okay.
Nice.
Horror mystery. That could be interesting.
Cool. I had one. I would love to see. I love me some stealth action games. Like I talked about last week. Like I said last week, I love Splinter Cell. I love Metal Gear. I love earlier today I had like a whole list of games, like some of my favorite games. So I'd love to see, like, I want a revival of like that genre. So you know what I put on there, which isn't a stealth action game, but I always played it extremely stealthy. Fallout, like, I don't know, Fallout Skyrim, like those types of, that's any game where you can be stealthy, any game where you can kind of like, that's an option. Dishonored, like those types of games, like
Sly Cooper.
Yeah, like give me a stealth action game. I would make something like that. And I actually, hang with me here. I would love My Chemical Romance to do the soundtrack, but I'm thinking.
Keep talking.
No, I love it. I'm not bashing.
Think like Ghost of You and Desert Song, and like they're more instrumental, quiet, like. Because I was like a stealth action, and if it had like it wasn't quite supernatural or like, but like there's like some thriller or like even like horror elements to it, like. Or like undertones of it, like almost like the whole time you keep thinking like, okay, this is a stealth action game, but it seems like there's something more going on, like, and it may be like that's what I was imagining, is just like something like that with like, like a really eerie kind of instrumental music underneath, like those two My Chemical Romance songs I mentioned there, Desert Song, Ghost of You, where it's just like really eerie, it's just like really creepy, and then like maybe at the end there's like a big reveal, or like, it is like supernatural, it is like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, something like that. I don't know.
Now here's my question.
Yes.
Is the music in your game reactive? As in, is it like playing a quieter version while you're sneaking? If you get caught and you have to get into the fray, does everything ramp up and then it sounds like 100%. A big...
Yeah, I think 100%. Like it would start out chill, and then like in full like MCR fashion, as soon as like you got spotted, all of a sudden it's like same drum beat every
right.
They do the same drum beat every song, but yeah, and all of a sudden like guitars ramp up. And
didn't they make that game and call it Death Stranding?
No. Death Stranding is not stealth. I mean, it's stealth in a sense, but it's not.
Not this kind of stealth. And also, Low Roar is not anything like My Chemical Romance. No. But yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I love it. Like, I mean, I love all their stuff, but there's just something about their like little more quieter songs. It just has an eeriness to it. And I'm just, I love that. I love that. Like, I'm like, just, it just kind of makes you a little uncomfortable. And like, that's what I love. It's a stealth action game with like that to make you like think, okay, what's actually coming? What's actually happening here? But yeah, that was my take. Or I actually put a little note so I wouldn't forget, because I thought it was funny. I was like, or just do a cyberpunk, and actually a good cyberpunk game, so Cyberpunk 2077 with Droid Bishop, the music that we always use in the beginning of our streams and stuff.
Right.
Cyberpunk or with Droid Bishop doing the soundtrack.
Do a good Cyberpunk 2077 with the same soundtrack.
With the same
because
soundtrack,
that soundtrack was incredible.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Cool. Well, that's it for our questions this week. Let me see here. I think it's time.
Pretty light. You telling me we getting low? You telling me I gotta hop into that Discord again?
You might need.
I gotta go and
crack the whip again.
Put the lean on some people. Put a squeeze on some people.
Yeah.
Huh? Squeeze some questions out of them.
100%. Yeah. If you guys want to send in your questions, you can do it literally however you want. Send it through social media. You can send it through our website. We have an email portal, or if you are part of our Discord, supergamerboys.com/discord. To go to that, you can join it. It's totally free. You can hang out with us during the week, and we have a channel on there that says submit mail questions. And we need more questions, because this was pretty low week. The last couple weeks, about an hour of our show has just been questions. So
why I oughta,
exactly. So yeah, get in there, send them to us, or else I'm gonna have to sick Adrian on you guys.
You don't want that.
Definitely don't want it. All right, it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy news.
Oh man, one of these times it's not going to cut out on Discord. I'm glad that YouTube and podcast services, they get to hear it in full, but I miss it. I miss hearing that in full in my own ears.
So it still cuts out.
Yeah,
through just
now with the audio, does it work?
Oh yeah, no. So that's like I said, on YouTube and podcasts it sounds normal, but for Twitch viewers and for us, it cuts out there. It's always a bummer.
Oh man,
always a bummer. All right, this first news story hit hard this week. Last week actually. It hit hard. It hit a little close to home.
Sorry for you, man. Take your time. Take your time.
Don't be in a rush, man. Let it flow over you.
Yeah. Hang on.
These are raw emotions, folks. This is real life.
You're hearing a man whose dreams have literally been shattered. It's okay.
Just like the bones of that guy that he hit with his car.
What? Oh
no?
Gosh.
Was that too much? Okay. Was that no? Okay.
Oh no.
Sorry.
The anticipated PS5 app for the horror game Abandon accidentally trolls everyone. That's the
accidentally.
That's the headline here. The unfortunate thing is I don't think there's much accidents about it. Blue Box Game Studios' Not Silent Hill project continues to be a bust. That's the subtitle. I love that. I actually like that more than the actual title. After tons of wild fan speculation and lots of technical delays, Blue Box Game Studios' PS5 app for hyping up its upcoming horror game Abandon is officially here. It's as anticlimactic as you might have expected, given everything leading up to its release. The Abandoned PS5 app clocks in at a whopping 5.1 gigabytes, despite it only containing the briefest of teases. Some guy's bootcut jeans gliding across a creaky old wooden floor. It scarcely lasts a dozen seconds. Blue Box says a longer trailer and hands-off demos will come to the app in the future, but for now it's basically just the tease the studio already showed off earlier this week, just running on your PS5 instead of Twitter. And here's that was not mentioned in this article, but let me paint you guys a little story here. The day it was last Wednesday, if I remember correctly, August 11th, 9:59 a.m. We are anticipating at 10. No, I take that back. 11:59 because it's supposed to come out at noon. 11:59 a.m. 12 p.m. the app was supposed to update and we were going to get a teaser trailer for Abandon. And everyone's like, here we go. Silent Hills, let's go, baby. Or if it's not Silent Hills, what is this Kojima project? What's going on? Come on, baby. Noon rolls around. No update. Okay. That's weird, but just keep refreshing. Everyone, like I'm watching people's streams. Everyone's just refreshing, checking for updates. 12:01, 12:02, 12:05, 12:15, 12:30, 1 o'clock. I think about 30 minutes, Blue Box puts out a tweet and they're like, hey, sorry, technical issues. It'll be up shortly. Hours later, some people stream for like 2, 3, 4 hours just waiting and finally put out another update. Bear with us. We're still working on it. We'll let you know when things get straightened out.
Oh, I'd have been pissed.
And still people were like, okay, like maybe it'll be coming then today. Everyone had thought it was coming Wednesday. Well, that was the last tweet they put out. It was just like, bear with us. We'll get it straightened out. Don't worry. And then they just went off the grid for the rest of the 11th and all day the 12th. No one heard from them. Like nothing. Like just radio silent. And then Friday the 13th, randomly on, I forget what time it was. It was later in the day, I think. All of a sudden a tweet came out like, hey, the app's going to be updating soon. Keep an eye out on it. It'll be ready to go live. And everyone's like, okay, like, we'll see.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, sure enough, a few minutes later, the stream I was watching, he put in the update 5 gigs. So we had to wait like 15 minutes for this thing to download and install and everything. So think about that. 15 minutes of, downloading and installing and hyping this up on stream.
5 gigs of your data gone.
5 gigs of data gone. He goes into the app. It has I think it's probably 10 boxes, and most of them are just like squares with like X's in them. And the first one has a picture. Like you can play the first one. So there's obviously more to come, but everyone's super hyped. Oh yes, this is new trailer, new teaser. We're getting something. We hit play, and just like this article said, it was literally like 12 seconds long, and all it showed was someone's feet walking, doing it took like 3 steps across a wooden floor. You hear a little creak, some footsteps, some eerie, creepy music, and it says, playable teaser coming soon. And that was it. And that was it. And what was even worse, and I didn't share this at the beginning of my story, I apologize. The video that was in the teaser, it was the same one they shared on Tuesday to get everyone hyped for the app. They literally posted on Twitter and said, get hyped. The app's coming out tomorrow. Can't wait. And it was just like a little, video of this, of like someone just walking across the wooden floor with some eerie music and creaking footsteps. And people are like, are you kidding me? I waited 3 days. Oh, I mean, we've been waiting months for this, but we waited 3 days for this stupid app to finally work. And it was something you already showed off. Are you kidding me right now? Like, what is this? Oh man, there's one guy who streamed for over 70 some hours straight. Like he didn't stop, like on YouTube.
Just for this trailer?
Because I just saw someone clipped it and put it on Twitter and like, dude, this guy streamed for over 70 hours straight or whatever, because he went live at noon expecting it and then just stayed live the whole time until it went live.
And like was interacting or just left the stream on?
I don't know. I didn't actually go into and watch his VOD or anything like that. I just, like I said, it was a clip on Twitter.
Dude, if he did that for you got to give him like a free copy of the game. You got to do something. Like I said, you got to have a make good.
I just saw the clip on Twitter of him reacting to it finally working, and it was like just silence. It was like stunned silence for a second, and he looks at the camera. And he's just like, "What the?" Just like that's it. He's like, "Are you kidding me? Like I've stayed up for how?"
I would have just shut the stream off, dude. Man. I'd have looked at the camera and just shut the stream off.
Oh man, it was so ridiculous.
And then hang up.
Right.
End it.
Oh man, I could not
think
imagine.
That, like from my perspective, I wasn't waiting on it like you guys. So I'll tell you, I think that what I saw in the video, not realizing that it had already come out, it looked like a pretty cool trailer. I mean, like it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was teasing.
It didn't tease anything. It's someone. I could do the same thing for you right now. Here's a teaser for my OnlyFans.
Oh man. That was hot, Garrett.
Are you kidding me?
Have a free tier.
Preach it here. No, there's JJ. Shut up! Like, are you kidding me right now? It was literally someone taking like 3 steps across a wooden floor, and then it cuts to black.
But the point of the video, from my perspective, was the fact that it was teasing, and that's exactly what it did. It's supposed to. The idea of a tease is to give you a little bit of something, and then, it leads to you wanting more anticipation. This didn't give anything really, but what I was saying is, coming into it completely cold, having no idea, I'm like, dude, I'm curious about Abandoned. I really want to know what you know what I mean? From a perspective of somebody who didn't know anything about it and saw it, like, whoa, what's that about? You know what I mean? That's the idea. They're not caring about every one of you guys that are like super video gamers. They're looking to sell it to people like me who are idiots and who see feet walking and go, oh my God, where's he walking to? I gotta know. And
I'm not gonna lie, it looked pretty. Like, it looked great, because that was the whole point of the app. The reason they didn't just put out a video and they actually did the app is because supposedly, like, if they just put out a trailer, like, oh well, it's with the rendering and compression, all stuff, it's not gonna. The quality is going to be degraded. So technically, when you watch that quote unquote teaser, it's rendering it in the game engine as if you were playing the game. So technically, you're loading the game up there when you open it. So JJ, I mean, when you're home already, but when you're done with the podcast, you should go download the app. It's still available, and as they release stuff, they're going to keep releasing stuff, and just see how beautiful it is, because it really is gorgeous.
Is it just on PlayStation Network or something?
Yeah, so just go to the PlayStation Store and search for Abandoned, I think is all you type in. It just brings up Abandoned Real-Time Experience, it's called. Dude, yeah, no, it is just like, and you're right, JJ. For people who are like actually were excited or interested or curious about what the heck this is the biggest letdown. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, and at that point too, I realized like Kojima is all about the like being like big and crazy and over the top with like his reveals, but this is not Kojima. This is
nothing to do with it.
This is a mess.
I've been knowing that for a long time. I didn't want to. I had wanted to let you down easy, but you were already too invested.
Yeah, I was like, this is a mess. This is a disaster. This is a studio that doesn't know what they're doing.
Ready to go up in hate flames.
Yeah,
and people realize what this actually is and how it's not Kojima at all.
Yeah. And here's the deal, though. Like, and I tweeted a buddy of mine because he brought up, he shared something. I commented on it and said the same thing. I'm like, I'm really disappointed and embarrassed for them, but at the same time, like, I don't wish them ill will. Like, I want
absolutely not.
I want this to be a fantastic game. Like, and just because this reveal was botched doesn't mean the game's going to be garbage. It's not a good sign for the game so far. Like, if they can't handle getting a trailer out there, how are they going to get a game released? But like, in the tweet, I was just like, I really hope this is a great game, because I really want to play it. Like, I still like this style of game. I just hope they can kind of like get their crap together, because like, this was not a good showing last week when they couldn't even handle to get like a trailer going, and the communications is so poor. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, I'm trying to root for you, and you're just making it really hard. You're making it really hard.
Right.
Yeah. It might actually be one of the really bad moves, in the fact that they've been associated in name value with I was gonna say Kojima, with Kojima.
Not any longer.
Not any right? Longer. He can't call himself that. No, but the fact that people actually thought that it was Kojima, and I think it builds up an expectation, and then it's like kind of a letdown. So
they probably should, in the long run.
Yeah, they probably should have came right out and said like, hey, he doesn't have anything to do with it.
Well, they did. But people didn't believe him. That's the thing.
No,
they did.
No,
they read right away.
Did not believe him.
But here's the thing, though. Also, Garrett, they did say that, and then people didn't believe him, and then they're like, "Actually, let's lean into it a little bit because it's giving us notoriety." Well, so it is still kind of their fault.
Yeah.
Well, and right. You can probably sell a few consoles. It's not fair to do that.
Nobody's buying an entire console for Abandoned, dude, unless it's a Kojima game.
I shouldn't have said consoles.
We don't even.
I know a few
copies.
Games. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely a bummer, but you know what? Gotta move on. Just like my shirt says, brush off the dirt and move on.
That's it. Keep it pushing.
The key to everything you just talked about, like everything that we just saw and heard, though, I was really digging on you walking around and like giving us that glimpse into what it's looking like on your OnlyFans, man. Because tell you what, you did. it looked hot. You know what I mean? Like you're a walking dude.
You got a good gait.
Yeah, you do. It is a very straight gait, if you know what I mean.
Okay, the next news story comes from The Verge over here. Rockstar is reportedly remastering its PS2 era Grand Theft Auto trilogy. GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas could arrive later this year. How does that strike you? Just before I get into the article.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm stoked. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. Rockstar Games Dundee Studios working on remastered versions of 3 classic PS2 era Grand Theft Auto titles: Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and San Andreas. Kotaku reports a late October or early November release is said to be tentatively planned for the titles, which could eventually be released for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, PC, Stadia, and mobile phones. That I don't know. When they say Switch and then mobile phones and stuff like that, it's like, okay, now it's a little, I guess it is a remaster. It's a remaster, not a remake. I guess you got to keep that in mind.
I don't know, because remaster implies that you're just kind of up-resing stuff and fixing some textures, but I'm hearing reports that they have to basically take the engines that those games used to run in and then put them into Unreal Engine and then recreate assets based on that. So It might be, I mean, it's not a full remake, of course, but it might be leaning more towards a remake than a remaster, because I feel like if you have the opportunity at this point, why not go ahead and make the modern quality of life adjustments that normal modern games have these days, right? If you're going to update that, go ahead and update everything else.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I hope is that they keep the same soundtrack for Vice City as the original release, because it's one of the best video game soundtracks of all time. Of all time, hands down. I will fight anybody about it.
I remember playing that game when I was a young adult, and my brother and other friends of mine at the time telling me, "Dude, you could have sex with hookers in this game." And like that was like a big deal. Look, the car's rocking back and forth.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Not like prostitutes have been a thing since the beginning of time or anything, but
no. Oldest profession, I understand.
Right. But in a 1999 video game, oh my God.
Rumors of the remastered titles have been floating around for some time, but this month, Rockstar Games' parent company Take-Two Interactive confirmed it has plans to release the 3 unannounced iterations of old games alongside current-gen ports of GTA 5 and GTA Online, and Kerbal Space Program. I love how they just throw that in there.
Okay.
However, considering Take-Two's library of games, these 3 unannounced remasters could include anything from BioShock, Max Payne, or Bully. So
BioShock, I feel, is a reach. They just did the collection not too long ago.
Yeah, I don't know about that. According to Kotaku, the 3 GTA games are being remastered in Unreal Engine, just like you said, with one source commenting that they look like heavily modified versions of the existing titles. Gameplay is said to be staying true to the originals, while their UI should also retain their classic style. The game's release has reportedly shifted a lot as a result of the pandemic, but the current plan is said to be a simultaneous digital release for the 3 titles across most platforms this year, with PC and mobile following in 2022. A spokesperson from Rockstar Games did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and the publisher is also said to be planning a remaster of the original Red Dead Redemption if the remastered trilogy sells well. That would be one I'm interested in. I really like the first Red Dead.
It was great.
Not that I didn't like the second one. I just, it's a big game, and I just couldn't find the time to get into it.
It's huge. Just 100 hours just to clear the story if you play it the right way.
Every single hour of it. Yeah. Every hour.
But dude, the first one, like back in the day when I actually had time to play video games, like I played the crap out of the first one. So good. I think I've said this before. Up until like just a couple months ago, like I had never played a Grand Theft Auto game. I had never touched one. So my first one was Grand Theft Auto.
What did you just say?
My first one was Grand Theft Auto 5, or like Grand Theft Auto Online. And basically me and my buddies would just go to the casino, gamble a little bit, and then,
So not only was your first game GTA 5, which is fantastic, by the way. GTA 5's story mode doesn't get enough credit for how good it is. But you bypass that to go straight to online to go and gamble in a casino. So you're thinking, oh, this Grand Theft Auto game is pretty great. You just go with your friends to casinos
It's
and
a
gamble.
great casino simulator. Fantastic. Love playing some poker in there.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a failure. I know.
No. It's just I'm definitely interested in hearing your perspective. When these come out, having started with 5, it's definitely gonna be how should I say? Because I don't want it to sound negative, but like a step back in terms of scale from 5. Definitely.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean the PS2 games. I'm sure they're gonna be quite a bit smaller and quite a bit like.
But you got to remember, man,
back.
back in the day, those games there was nothing like them before.
Yeah.
Nothing like them.
Oh yeah, no, I remember when they came out. I remember hearing stuff like that, like just how massive and how crazy. Like, oh, you can do all sorts of. You can do anything you want in those games.
You could go from one end of the city to the other end of the city, and it never loads. It never loads, and it all looks different.
Yeah,
you can have a soundtrack playing while you're driving.
Yeah, now you mentioned that you hope they keep the soundtrack. You hope that they keep the soundtrack the same. Now, does it have like a lot of licensed like music in there though? Like, is that something that could be an issue?
They actually had to take. So the original one had what was it? 1983. I think it had Thriller on it. And no, it had Wanna Be Starting Something on it, I think. One of those two. And they had to take it off because of licensing rights. So they actually did a 1.1 version of it while it was on PS2, and they had to remove it in a later version because they couldn't get the licensing rights back from the estate. So I'm hoping with this one and the billions of dollars that they've made on GTA Online, can you please pay the appropriate licensing parties to have the original soundtrack back on here,
dude?
Because I don't think that's the only one that got cut. I think there were a few songs that got cut in the updated version, if I'm not mistaken. And I hate to see that happen.
My only worry is like, I mean, think about the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster that came out last year, and we all hoped like it would have, you know, a song for song exact playlist from those two games. And even Activision, with all their money, they weren't able to do it. There's still some songs missing on those ones.
But that project probably had much less funding. Like, Rockstar has all the money, right? They don't have to go to anybody to ask for a budget. They can set the budget. They make the game. They receive the profits from the game. So they could set whatever budget they want. And I'm sure they have a good enough relationships. Like, think about how many copies GTA 5 has sold and how much market share that game has, right? If I'm a record company and Rockstar comes to me and says, hey, we want to use so-and-so game or so-and-so songs in our game that could potentially reach 100 and something million people.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no problem at all. So I don't know anybody who's not signing up for that deal.
Yeah. No, you're not
wrong. Just do it. Just pay the money. You have GTA 5 has made $11 billion. $11 billion.
It's always like in the top 10 like best-selling games.
And
like,
you're telling me you
like...
can't pay a few record companies to license some songs out? Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, a lot of it comes down to like, I mean, I know a lot of it probably is money, but how many of those do you think, you know, is this like no, we're not interested? Like, do you think there'll be any of that? Like, I feel like
I can't.
Like in my head, that's what I imagine happened. Like with Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I don't think it was a money thing. I feel like it was more just like no, we don't really want to like, you know, give that to you or something like that. Like, I feel
why did they do it the first time? What's different about the first time versus this time? The only thing that it could have been is the deal is different.
20 years. I don't know. Artists are weird sometimes. Artists don't like it. Sometimes they don't hold on stuff. I don't know.
Artists don't really have a choice when it's the record label they're going to. So
that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's as great as everyone hopes it is, and I hope it's even lives up to.
And if it's not, we still have the originals.
Yeah, there you go. It's still good.
I keep all three of them on my phone to this day, just on the off chance that I have some time. I'm like, you know what? That was a good game. Let me pop in here for a minute.
That's awesome. On your phone, really? I didn't realize there were mobile versions.
All three of them, and that's what I was gonna say. Do you think if these do well, are they gonna do the same treatment for the PSP ones? Because there was 2 that came out on PSP. There was 2 games.
Right.
So I don't see why not. Because they use the same engine.
Yeah. They might, but are those like mainline titles or are those more like side thing? Because that's I think that's the difference is like the mainline titles compared to like a side story or something.
I mean,
that.
technically, Vice City and San Andreas are spinoffs because it went 3 Vice City, San Andreas 4. So if they're already remastering these 2 spinoffs, what's the difference in remastering the PSP ones? So
I mean, nostalgia. Like more people had a PS2 than a PSP. So like, I mean, they might. So if the PS2 ones do well enough, they might do it only because they're like, oh, okay, well, these games take place in the same world, so try it. Like, there's a lot of people who
PSP
who
was
didn't
no
play
slouch.
them.
It sold 80 million.
Really? I didn't know it did that good.
Yeah.
Dang.
It just got stomped out by DS because DS sold 150 something, but PSP was no slouch.
Now, again, I've never played it because I never owned a DS, but wasn't there Grand Theft Auto on DS or 3DS?
There
or
was. There was.
Now,
and it also got ported to PSP. So look, they could do all of them. There's 2 on PSP and there's 1 on DS. Do it. Why not?
Yeah.
If these 3 make money, do a second collection with all 3 of those.
I mean, tis the season. Everyone's doing remasters right now. Everyone's just remastering old stuff, so might as well.
Everybody likes to get cynical about that too, but you have to realize that we are old, and a lot of these games are now 20 plus years old.
Yeah.
And you cannot expect a kid that was born, what's 18 years old today? 2003.
Yeah,
right.
Like 2002, 2003. Yeah, 2003.
Yeah, you can't expect a kid who was born in 2003 to be like, oh man, this game that came out the year I was born is really cool. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. You have to make an updated version of it that's modernized to the games that they play today.
You're totally right.
That's what they're doing.
My daughter was born in 2003, and there's no way she would play those games and think they were cool.
Right. So you have to modernize it.
Those kids are wrong. That's kind of what they're doing. Those kids are wrong.
No. They're wrong. They're wrong. But in the spirit of game preservation and keeping the spirit of those games alive for the next generation and the generation after them, it makes sense to remaster or remake a bunch of the titles that we came up with.
Yeah.
So that it lives on.
Totally.
Yeah, I've never actually played Grand Theft Auto 5.
It's a good one.
It's
a great one.
They say that's like the one that's the game that's like sold the most copies or whatever.
To me, it's the best story in a GTA game. But it's also the most expansive, so it's kind of unfair because this is like the most technology that they've been able to put in a GTA game. Like all the stories in the GTA games are really good. But this one, to me, 5 is the best one. So I would say
great casinos.
And great casinos. Garrett says great casinos. But if you ever have it, you can find it anywhere. Like I said, there's hundreds of millions of copies floating around. You could buy it digitally. Stop by a store and pick it up just for the story alone. It's really good. Garrett, if you like Red Dead, you'll like this.
More importantly, Garrett, how are the hookers in this game? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't know.
He wouldn't know. He didn't play it.
I didn't play the story game.
I thought you said you played 5.
Yeah, I remember.
He played the
online mode.
The online.
I said online mode. I never played the story.
He was just on the penny slots the whole time.
Oh no!
Spinning that wheel, seeing if I can get that sweet car. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're excited, Adrian, and I am excited too because, like I said, I never played them. So for me, this is a brand new game. So bring it on. I'm excited.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
It'll be cool
as a first timer.
It'll be cool to see if this ever gets confirmed. That's the other thing at this point.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're just
this is all speculation. This is all speculation. For all we know, it's just gonna be.
If it doesn't pan out, I still got the originals right there. I'm good either way.
And then for me,
if the remasters suck, I still got them. If it was just a fake rumor, I still got them. I'm good either way.
100%. Cool. This last news story comes from VGC. Xbox has ruled out Game Pass on other consoles in the near future. Phil Spencer says closed platforms don't want something like Game Pass. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has ruled out the possibility of launching Xbox Game Pass on other console platforms in the near future. In a Games Radar interview, Spencer was specifically asked whether Microsoft is planning to bring Xbox Game Pass to Nintendo Switch. We have no plans to bring it to any other kind of closed platforms right now, mainly because those closed platforms don't want something like Game Pass, he responded. There's a ton of open platforms out there for us to grow in, the web, PC, and mobile. I love how he says there's a ton, and he's only able to name 3, but, that's fine. That's fine, Phil. So all of our focus, frankly, is on those platforms. However, Spencer wouldn't rule out the possibility of bringing Xbox Game Pass to non-Microsoft consoles in the long term, where other platform holders open to offering the full experience on their hardware. Evolution always takes time, he says. There are different strengths that different companies have built through hard work, and some of these changes they might see as disruptive, and they'll have their own kind of business cadence and pace at which they want to make those changes. Spencer added, in the end, when we say we want everybody to be able to play on Xbox, we really mean if we can bring that full experience to a device that players want, we are totally open to those discussions. Microsoft said in June that it's planning to bring Xbox cloud gaming to internet-connected TVs in a move that will let players access services like Game Pass with no extra hardware required except a controller. It is also building its own streaming devices to bring Xbox cloud gaming to any TV or monitor without the need for a console. And as of this week, Xbox Cloud Gaming on Windows PC is available through the Xbox app. It's currently open to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers who are signed up to the Xbox Insider program ahead of its wider rollout. I did not know that last part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I missed that news, that xCloud is finally on PC, because I've been waiting for that. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Now, did you guys have any hope for it to come, to play Game Pass on your PlayStation or play Game Pass on your Switch, or was that kind of?
Not really. It doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you really sit down and think about it from like a business perspective, right? Why am I gonna let somebody on my platform where I sell games and I'm trying to make a profit come in with a service that they don't pay me for to give to people, where people can play the same games I'm offering for free, right? Or essentially free. All they have to do is pay for the membership. Right. That's automatically undercutting any sales that I might possibly get. And then you want me to put this service on my own hardware? No, doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. But it might have been a situation if they were to work out a deal with Sony where they came in and said, all right, so on the PlayStation, it's going to be, $10, $12, whatever. I know it's normally like $10 or whatever. So it's $10 a month, and then they split it in half to where it's like, hey, it's already on another console they don't have access to anyway, and maybe a limited supply like they do with PC, where hey, there's only a handful of the titles on there.
Like a limited library.
I mean, it's what they did with PC. I'm not saying it's a great idea, because it doesn't make sense for them to try to take it, because it would be, if you have those games on PlayStation Network and you're looking to sell those same games, and like, oh man, if they just pay $10 a month and we're only getting 5 of it, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense for us to do that. We're not going to be, unless you had such huge volume of people doing it, it's not going to make any sense. And that's why Game Pass sounded so crazy in the beginning, but now there's just such a huge volume of people that do it, and it just makes all the sense in the world for them. So no, I don't think it would make any sense. But I did have that hope when they originally started working together. They were using the same, I don't remember the engine or whatever that xCloud uses. They were trying to use that stuff for PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
And,
that is still happening. They're switching over to the Azure servers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a lot of people speculated like, oh yeah, is Game Pass coming to PlayStation? But it's simply just a service they're using. But
JJ might be onto something though, because I could see that. Now that would be different if it's Game Pass, right? But only on closed platforms. Maybe it's only Xbox exclusive games.
Mm-hmm.
That might make sense.
There you go. Xbox exclusive games. See, that's because like a little thing you added to it that really works it out. To where
right, because now you're not competing with my platform. Yeah. You're just trying to get people to play stuff for your platform versus mine. Mm-hmm. And the chances are that if they already own my platform, they're going to buy games and not worry about the subscription service on yours.
Yeah, Phil Spencer, you're welcome.
Right. So if they just make a version of Game Pass that only works with Xbox exclusive games,
Yeah.
that might be the ticket.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that way, PlayStation can take a little bit off the top, for featuring the service on their platform.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
Xbox
still gets paid in the subscription.
Xbox still gets paid, and it's opening up the world of Xbox to all these Sony ponies, who would normally be like, I'm not gonna touch that. Now it's like, well, and maybe it's a little bit cheaper too. Instead of like
Skyrim.
Instead of $10 a month, maybe it's only like $5 a month, or like it's a cheaper price too. It's like, like $5 a month, and I have access to these,
because you're not getting the full catalog,
right? Like this handful of Xbox games I normally wouldn't be able to play because I don't have an Xbox. Like that,
right?
That'd be awesome. I'd be like,
and
I would do
especially if
that.
they took older Xbox games and didn't have like the brand new ones, the ones that are like day one stuff, are only available on full Xbox on their consoles, or PC or whatever. So you have like a lot of the old 360 games, a lot of the Xbox One games, and then you take maybe a couple of big titles and offload them, similar to what
you gotta have Halo. You gotta have Gears. You gotta have Forza.
Right, like what PlayStation Now is doing. Is that what you're saying? Where like basically like every 4 months they recycle like their top big hits.
Right. So Xbox, Game Pass on PlayStation and on Nintendo Switch would offer a couple of choice titles that are exclusive to that system. Like let's say, okay, this month for Nintendo Switch Game Pass users, there's only going to be Halo Infinite and one other major title, and they're only going to be playable for a month. Hey, I'm a dreamer.
No, that's the only way I think it'll work.
Yeah. No, JJ, I don't say this very often, but that was a great idea.
Well, Adrian cleaned it up and made it actually something feasible, only because him saying that it was Xbox game exclusives, that's what does it. That's actually that's the key to it. That's the sugar inside of the pie that we were just making together. So
there it is, baked to perfection.
Great. Now I'm hungry. Now I'm hungry. Yeah, I need some apple pie or something up in here. I feel similarly to you guys, where I wasn't necessarily like expecting this to ever happen. It'd be a cool thing to happen, and yeah, you guys just kind of sharing those ideas, like, oh yeah, no, that'd be really cool, like if they did something. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. At this point, if anything, I'd be tempted to get whatever the, if xCloud game streaming really is on PC like it says it is, I'm excited for that, because there's a lot of Xbox games I'd love to play that I can't. So if I could stream it, perfect. To my PC, that is. But if I can't, like for whatever reason, like xCloud on my PC just doesn't work great, like whatever that gaming box is going to be, the Project Lockhart or whatever it is, or projects, because Scarlet.
I can't remember the name of it.
I think it's Lockhart.
A lot of projects going on. They got some big stuff going on.
Because Project Scarlet ended up being the Xbox Series X and S, correct? So I think Lockhart was like the quote unquote streaming box that was rumored last year or 2 years ago. So if that cloud gaming box comes out, like, yeah, 100% be down. Then I can sit on my couch and play Xbox games, and through the xCloud, and have a wider catalog, because again, like PC catalog is slimmed down because only so many games can be ported to PC. So to have everything, oh man, it'd be fantastic. Like just the other day, I was like, I would really want to play Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. And right now, the only way on PlayStation to play them is I can play them through PlayStation Now. But it's like, okay, like, this streaming service is fine for the most part. Or I have to have a PlayStation 3 in order to play it. So if I had Game Pass, not only would I have this huge catalog, I play Metal Gear games, which just seems weird to play Metal Gear on Xbox, but yeah, I don't know.
Sacrilegious almost.
A little bit. But I'm just excited for what Xbox is doing. Like, they're really killing it over
now,
there.
Here is where they do this is the silver bullet, right? So Series X is $499. Series S is $299. If that streaming box comes in at $99,
I had to be.
Everybody will have it.
They take the hit on the controller, and they put it out for $99. It's gonna sell like gangbusters.
Here's the thing, though, too. I mean, I can do xCloud on my phone, and I don't have to use an Xbox controller.
No, you don't. You can get one of those backbone things.
I use my
or you can pair a Bluetooth controller.
I use my 8-bit Do SN30 Pro Plus. Like, I love this thing. It's fantastic. If they sold it for $99 and like it didn't come with a controller, I'd be like, you can use whatever controller you want. Technically, PS4 controllers are Bluetooth. Use your PlayStation controller. Use your Xbox controller. Use your whatever controller you want. You just sync it up with the device. $100 for the device. Like, even that's still, that way, if they bundled a controller, I would love that. That'd be great. I love controllers. Are great.
Maybe 99 without, 129 with. Somewhere in there.
Exactly. But like that, and that way, they could still make some good money off it. They're not taking a big hit, especially if, and I'm sure even if they bundled a controller with it, I'm sure it would be compatible with anything. Like, how dope that would be to be able to just like, use a real Xbox controller, pull out the 8-bit Do, pull out the PlayStation, but we're all playing on the couch together, couch co-op.
So what you guys are calling, I want to see if you can give me some clarification. So if I'm listening to the show and I'm like, what are they talking about streaming box? What do you guys mean exactly? Are we thinking that streaming box is going to be like a Roku? So it's going to be a small box that you hook an HDMI up to the TV into this box, and then you can play Xbox Game Pass on there?
Essentially,
and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it. Think of it as an Xbox made Roku that plays Xbox games. It streams Xbox games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like the NVIDIA Shield.
Right. Instead of having the actual console with the fans and the graphics cards and all this other kind of stuff, that is the reason that you're paying, $500 or $300 for either of the other models. This one is just the equipment needed to stream in a high quality signal that you play, that's being beamed to you from a data center, kind of like how a streaming box does.
Yeah.
So because it doesn't need to have the onboard parts to push those graphics, because the computer, back wherever it is doing that, you really don't need much. So you can make a tiny box that'll hold those streaming parts.
It can literally be Google Stadia uses the Chromecast Ultra. So I actually bought a Chromecast Ultra in preparation for Stadia. Joke's on me. I've never used it for that.
Me too.
And all it is a disc that's an inch in diameter and like maybe a half-inch thick, if that. And then it has a little cable that sticks out the end. You just plug in your HDMI. It's literally this big, and that can stream 4K games, and you just hook a controller with Bluetooth up to it. Like, that's all Xbox would need is a little dongle. It literally is like this.
But it depends on the parts, right?
The size of a $50, and it just plugs in the back of your TV, and then you have Xbox.
Because it depends on the parts. Because if you want to have a consistent, high quality stream, right? The only thing that I'm sure it's going to have an Ethernet port on the back. That goes without saying. Right. But one of the big things is you have to have, outside of having a fast enough internet connection, you have to have a strong signal, right? Yeah. So if they want to put a really, fat, high power antenna in there, if they make that box maybe half the size of what the Xbox Series S is, and the Series S is already really tiny. I don't know if you've ever seen one in real life. But if they make it half the size of that, and they put a fat antenna that can maintain a consistent 1080p signal, they're golden.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know what a good journalist I am, that I already knew all of this information, but I wanted you guys to describe for the audience that's listening to us and watching us on YouTube, because they were probably like, what are you guys talking about, stream? But now they know, because I guided you guys there, so you're welcome.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right.
So before you guys ask me any questions to clarify, let's move on as quick as possible.
Yeah, of course. Next question.
Yeah, next question, JD. What's your next question?
I got nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing.
That's all right. Because that's all I had for the news stories this week. But yeah, so that's a fun one. That's a fun one to end on, because even though it's saying that's not coming to those platforms in the future, it's kind of fun to speculate and how they could do it. And honestly, even the news that I'm finding out that it's available on PC, I'm really stoked about, because I feel like I'm missing out on. Yeah, I pay for Game Pass. I pay for JJ's Game Pass, and I don't even get to experience the full breadth of it. So I'd love to be able to He steals my. He's every once in a while he's like, hey, what's your password? I need to log back in.
Oh, that hurts.
Andy hasn't paid me for the last 6 months.
They don't have Xbox doesn't have a family plan that you guys could jump on.
I don't know.
That might be something to look into.
The reason we do it how we do is because I only use the PC aspect of it, and he uses the full version. So I just pay for Ultimate, and he uses the X. So every once in a while I get weird messages because his son will like message girls and try to ask him out on dates and stuff. And I'm like, dude, you're using my Xbox account. Use your own Xbox account.
Please don't do that.
So legitimately, he's 10 now, but he was 9 years old, and Garrett calls me up in the middle of the night and tells me, "Hey, dude, you got to tell your son to stop being a butthole, man." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's like threatening people online, and then like he's like coming on to girls, dude. He's like, look, he's asking this one chick out online that he doesn't know, like wants to, you want to be my
with
girlfriend?"
my Xbox account.
And he's like, it's gonna come across like I'm talking to some 9-year-old girl, dude. Like, what the hell? And I'm like,
bad.
"Oh man,
All bad.
That's horrible.
Yeah, not good.
That's horrible."
Not good.
But secretly, I was like, "Yes, he's a stud. Yes, my boy." But I'm like, "Oh, Garrett, I'm so sorry." Like, "Oh, what a pig." And then I'm like, "Yeah, do it, buddy. Sweet. Wait, how big is her daddy? Never mind. You know what? Stop. Don't do that stuff online,
It's
man.
not good.
No.
Oh man. Yeah. So I'd have to look into that. If they have a family plan, I'd be totally down to get that. That'd be way easier. But cool. Well, now it's time for Adrian's Super Indie Boys. I'm stoked for this. I was downloading it during the show. We got it here prepped and ready. So hopefully this works. If it doesn't, I just blame it on JJ.
That'll work.
It works.
All right.
Makes sense.
We'll see you guys in a sec.
What's good, y'all? I'm doing this at the very buzzer beater end, but hey, I had to get it in. Let's go. Super Indie Boys, I got 4 for you this time. I don't want to waste too much time. Let's get into it. Round it up. Creature in the Well is a top-down, pinball-inspired hack-and-slash dungeon crawler. As the last remaining bot C unit, venture deep into a desert mountain to restore power to an ancient facility haunted by a desperate creature. Uncover and upgrade powerful gear in order to free the city of Mirage from a deadly sandstorm. I really dig this one. The art style is phenomenal, and it really does feel like a game of pinball mixed with Hyper Light Drifter. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they did. Definitely check this one out. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time is a frantic couch co-op up to 4-player space shooter. Explore a colorful galaxy in a massive neon battleship that you control together by manning turrets, lasers, shields, and thrusters. Only through teamwork can you triumph over the evil forces of anti-love, rescue kidnapped space bunnies, and avoid a vacuumy demise. Deep space is a dangerous place, but you don't have to face it alone. Ape Out is a wildly intense and colorfully stylized smash 'em up. That's right, it's more than a beat 'em up, bruh. It's a smash 'em up. Let me show you why. Look at what this ape is doing to this lab, dude. He is causing havoc. All right, check it out. So you're gonna use rhythmic violence, that's what they call it, and frenetic jazz. Build up nearly unstoppable momentum and use your captors as both weapons and shields to crush everyone on your procedurally generated path to freedom. Now, if that didn't sell you, I don't know what else can. Now this one right here, this one is one of my favorites. This is Manifold Garden. Rediscover gravity and explore an MC Escher-esque world of impossible architecture. Witness infinity in first person and master its rules to solve physics-defying puzzles. Cultivate a garden to open new paths forward, where an eternal expanse awaits. This game is the personification of beautiful madness. It is so well designed. The style of it is so gorgeous, and you never know what puzzle or what perspective they want you to take around the next corner. It's so good. Definitely check this out. And it's just been optimized for the Series Xbox consoles. If you have one, worth every penny. Anywhere you get it. Oh, there we go. Another week in the can. Never let it be said I didn't deliver for y'all. All right, I'm out of here. Until next time, peace.
Alrighty, another fantastic Super Indie Boys by Adrian. Thank you so much for that. I two of those games I played before and really enjoyed them. I was actually saying with Ape out there, I started getting really motion sick. It kind of messed with me a little bit, but really enjoyed what I did play. But Creature in the Well,
it moves quick, man.
Creature in the Well is a fantastic puzzle game. Like, it has some hard puzzles in there, like trying to figure out how to, like, okay, how am I, it's like pinball mixed with these puzzles and stuff. You gotta smack that ball around. Kajoma just joined us, just got done with work. What's up, Kajoma? Cool.
Kajoma would join right after. He's got it out for me. He joined right after my segment. All right, Kajoma, I see how it is.
Freaking Kajoma.
I see how it is.
Well, that's because he's deeply ashamed because he recently had his name stripped from himself, and he had to take his name off of Discord. So no longer to be known as Hideo.
All right. It's now time for the Patreon ad. This is the part of the show where I talk about our Patreon. Let's see how many times I can say Patreon in the next 30 seconds. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. You can support us over there. Just $1 a month, and you get episodes early and ad-free, just like this one. If you're not watching live, then what happens is I take it down and off Twitch as soon as we're finished up here, and then I quick edit it, pop it out there for you Patreon supporters. All you other suckers gotta wait till Wednesday. So support us at just $1 a month. You can get it right away. First thing in the morning, you wake up tomorrow and you can sip your coffee and listen to our just luscious voices in your ears. I don't know why luscious is the first adjective I thought of for voice, but you know. And
you were staring me directly in the eyes. Don't.
I was looking
that made me feel so uncomfortable right now.
I was looking at your square at your rectangle, and I was like, luscious. That's a luscious JG Purdom.
Juicy. You know the rules.
Wow. Do I? Rules are meant to be broken. Fair. Support us at the $5 level, and you get the episodes early, but you also get show notes, so you know what we're going to be talking about. You can leave your own comments, questions, concerns about news stories. You can throw them on the news section. You can throw them in what you plan. We don't have people do that very often, but I just like to remind people you can do that. When I share that link on Patreon, it's set for commenter mode, so you can just leave any comments you want. You can just completely just mark up my entire page and make a mess of it.
Graffiti the notes. So that way we can see some fun thoughts and questions right there in the show notes, and I don't forget about them. I also forgot to mention, at just $1 a month, you also get our bonus show. The show hosted by the king of golf, Adrian Holmes, where he talks about the best games out there. We talked about Undertale with Steph from Normcore Gaming. We talked about, I don't know why I can never remember Narita Boy with Eddie from Normcore Gaming. And next month, we're talking about Hades with Nate Fletcher, a.k.a. Boba Fletch. So it's a blast of a show. Love it. So much fun to do. We just talk about what we love and don't love about these awesome
games. Like that's the thing. Like they're all awesome, but it's just fun to like be like, oh, but I actually didn't really like this, or I actually did really love this, and even
or
Narita,
I thought this meant I thought X meant Y.
Yeah, Narita
this
Boy.
Part made me feel so and so.
I was surprised when Narita Boy, like when we finally got talking about the story, just like, oh man, like yeah, I didn't like. I feel like all three of us had those moments during that episode where we're like, oh yeah, I never even thought about that with the story. Like that's really interesting. Like we got deep on that. That was a fun one. So yeah, just $1 a month you get that, but $5 you get the show notes, $10 you get the shout out on the show like our sponsors, and $15 a month you can be a Patreon producer, just like Toby.
We're still looking for one.
Just like Toby was before he, decided
before he
to
dissed the Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Yeah, before he
can't come back from that.
I heard he started going on to OnlyFans recently and calling himself Big Toby D or something. So,
yeah,
how the fast have fallen. So
Exactly. He's looking for any support he can out there. Rest in peace, Toby. He was a good one while it lasted. Subscribe on Twitch. That's right. You're watching us live right now. Every Monday we record this around 7:30-ish. Twitch.tv/the Super Gamer Boys. You can watch us record the episode live. All the outtakes and bloopers, all the stuff that I don't edit out, which, to be honest, more and more recently, I don't edit out much, but you get to see it live.
All the good stuff gets cut.
All the good stuff gets cut. If you want to watch us live, you can watch over there. Follow us. It's free to follow, and then you can see when we go live as well. But you get free subscription. If you have Amazon Prime, you have a Twitch gaming subscription, where you can subscribe to any channel you want, one channel a month, for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Gives us $5, costs you $0.
But you get our appreciation in turn.
Our appreciation and some sweet emotes that you can use across all of Twitch. Just
and
throw
you get
our
some
faces
pills with your
over.
prescription.
Some pills too. Some pills from JJ's medicine cabinet because he's
you don't want the pills from my medicine cabinet. Let me tell you.
Okay. Well, things we don't talk about on the show, just like hitting people in vans and stuff.
I mean, just stay away from the blue diamonds. You're good.
Oh, man. Actually, speaking of supporting us on Twitch, I heard the music, but it doesn't say who subscribed. So just while we're doing the show right now live, someone subscribed. But it's not telling me who. It's not telling me who. I heard the music in my ears. It was very loud.
I need to know this.
We got to Sherlock Holmes that stuff, man.
Got to Sherlock Holmes. I guess we'll never know.
I said Sherlock, not John, just so you know, Garrett, because I saw that twinkle in your eye.
Okay.
That's a dated reference for you, huh? You don't have any idea. That's I'm a porn star.
Okay.
That's a porn star.
Support us. We would very much appreciate it. We want to make sure we're making the best content we can for you, and that helps out a lot. So support us over at Patreon. Support us on Twitch. If you want us to fire JJ, support us more over there. No, just kidding. Also, we have goals on Patreon. If we can hit $100 a month, we are going to do another bonus show. You can only get through Patreon. Super Gamer Boys, or no, what did the name you come up with? It was a good name. Super Later Boys. Super Later Boys, where we just talk more crazy, stupid stories from our life, and they're just gonna
get a nice saxophone intro going.
We'll get drunk on the show.
We'll show up in smoking jackets or pajamas.
We'll pop some of the prescription pills that Garrett's got. And we'll just tell stories.
Definitely not. But
most of his are Adderall, by the way. So
we'll be hyper focused.
Yeah, hyper focused. That's just what I need. If we get that $100 support though a month, you get more awesome new content. So support us over there. We appreciate it. Let's get back to the show. All right, guys, I have a confession to make. It's time for the segment called What You Playing. But other than Phasmophobia that I talked about earlier in the show, I haven't played anything else. Other than Hades. I played Hades, but I can't talk about it because it's going to be book club next month. So,
I mean, it's common knowledge that it's awesome. That goes without saying.
I know, but I don't want to spoil any thoughts. So I that's my what you plan is I played Hades and
Like I haven't seen one person ever say, "Oh, Hades sucks."
well, I'll give you one spoiler. Here you go. I had to turn on God mode because I'm a baby.
It's like I told you earlier, we're welcoming of all accessibility levels and player skill levels. If you can't do it, you can't do it. Do what you got to do to get through the game.
Thank you. That makes me feel better because I was really anxious to tell you guys that, and I'm really glad that you just accepted me for the bad gamer that I am. So thanks for that.
It's the reason they make an easy mode, man.
Adrian, speak for yourself. I cannot accept you like this. You're a non-game finishing loser. I'm sorry to say it.
Dang
Everybody's thinking and who's listening right now, G. You suck.
Okay, well, with that, JJ, why don't you tell us what you've been playing? Oh, let me guess. Little Nightmares 2? Already talked about it. Okay, Adrian, your turn. Go ahead, Adrian. Tell us what you've been playing.
I've been playing a little bit of Hades as well. I'm not embargoed at all about it. It rules. It's so good.
Spoiling your own show, dude. Come on now.
It's so good. I don't care. It deserves to be known. I mean, it is already known. Hades is so next level, man.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Modern classic. It just showed everybody how to do a roguelike. It's a masterclass in it. Like, all right. I'll stop there.
Okay.
But that's where. Oh, and then I restarted the Zelda games that were on the DS. So the Phantom Hourglass and the Spirit Tracks. And that's for an upcoming thing that I am breadcrumb trailing for that may be happening in the future. So we'll leave it there.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
We'll leave it there.
Okay. JJ, I guess I mean, we have some more time left in the show. I guess you can tell us about Little Nightmares 2 again.
Yeah, so actually, I didn't play Little Nightmares 2 this week. I wanted to, but I was told no.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, in fact, it was Adrian who said, like, you can't talk about the game anymore.
I did.
So this week I played Limbo. Limbo is a slightly older game. It's cut from the same cloth as Little Nightmares.
Kind of like you.
Yeah, it's super dirty and filthy and loves prescription pills. So I don't love prescription pills, dude. I'm just saying. I just want you guys to know that. I might have mentioned it 12 times tonight, but I do not take pills. So I'm just saying.
Okay. You don't have to convince us.
Right. So I've been playing Limbo. Limbo's a fantastic platformer game. It's got a spooky element to it where you're this little character and you're running through these platform levels and you got to figure out how to get from one area to the next. And honestly, like Little Nightmares 2, it's very similar. Only problem is there are some really difficult levels, man. Like I was telling the guys right before we started the show that I spent a good half hour stuck at the same spot. And I'm like, this thing is unwinnable. And obviously you have to be able to beat the level or to move on. But I just have not been able to figure it out. And I was stuck for a long time. And there were some choice words coming out of my mouth. Like, help, somebody help me. Come and finish this level for me, please.
Google,
anybody.
help.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to come. I felt like if I yelled help long enough, maybe the neighbor would bust in thinking I was like in danger. And I'm like, dude, can you just finish one level?
Help!
Yep, pretty much like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's called Limbo, and the characters are the animation is really cool. Everything is like really dark, so the characters are just like a shaded black color, and everything is like in shade and shadow and stuff like that. And it's really, really neat. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoying everything that I've played in it so far.
Rad.
Okay. Here first. JJ's played a different game.
Yeah, another indie game. And you know what?
Another indie game.
I feel like I kind of got the fever, and it's because of Super Indie Boys. Adrian
Welcome, my son.
Right? Dude, I've been opened up to a whole new world of games, and it's not just those AAA games that I was looking for before. And, it's really interesting. They're very inexpensive.
A little walking going on? Okay.
Yeah, they're very cheap. Yeah, they're very cheap. I just like to play them.
You nailed it in the end right there. I got to give you that one.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying Limbo. I have not played Limbo and Inside, because they're both made by the same studio there. I have not played them like in a hot minute, and I forget which one it was. It was I think it was Inside. I didn't play that one physically, but I sat on the couch next to my friend who played like all the way through, basically in like one sitting. Like we were on like a vacation during school, and I was like, okay, go for it, do it. Like, let's do this thing. We're sitting in the dorm, and I just watched them, and that game was insane. But yeah,
Inside is something else, bro.
Limbo is great too.
Garrett, please be aware. I don't know if this is just like a thread, an ongoing theme in your life, but you have so many stories about a friend that wouldn't let you play the game, but that you watched play the game. I swear, it's like most of your friends in your life have been those friends who have not let you play, but you just sit around watching them. You've talked about that for so many different games.
Never got to play.
Like, that's the impression I got. That's why you don't finish games. Because nobody would let you actually play the game. They would just say you can watch, but you can't play. Because you've talked about so many different friends.
You might as well go on YouTube right now. The Last of Us 2 movie.
Okay.
Just type that right in.
I'll do that tonight. I'll just do that. It's probably better to watch than play anyways, I imagine.
Yeah. No.
I actually, speaking of that, I just got my copy of Last of Us 2 back. My nephew just moved here around the corner from me, and that was one of the first things he did was he held it up in shame and handed it back. And I was like, sweet, did you finish it? And he's like, I never even played it once. And he had it for a year. Yeah, he's got 2 kids. He just had his second one not that long ago, and he's got no time, so now being in Nebraska, maybe he might have a little more time on his hands. But yeah, I'm ashamed because I'm like, I feel bad taking it back from you, but whenever you're ready, you gotta get it from me because I want you to play this game.
Or you can just buy it. It's like $20 nowadays.
Yeah, I have been seeing that the price has come down, which doesn't make any sense because that game is still amazing. Look at that.
Is the plastic wrap still on there?
That thing is brand new. It hasn't been opened.
Oh, no, it did open. Okay.
Want to hear something funny? This is also JJ's copy.
It was.
Well, it was JJ's copy that Super Gamer Boys bought for him. But what happened is, Super Gamer Boys bought it, and he was just loving it to death. And at first I was like, I'm fine with waiting. I don't need to play it right away. And then like he was talking it up so much, I'm like, I gotta play this thing. So I talked to his wife, and I was just like, hey man, like JJ's really liking that game. Like, I think he'd love his own copy. Like, I think I was around your birthday or something.
Yeah, he did. He cost me $60 because he wouldn't shut up.
He made you indirectly buy the game.
What a prick, right? Yeah, that's my buddy G. Total prick. Yeah. Dude, I literally came to work the next day and I was like, dude, you cost me $60. You're a dick. He's like,
happy birthday, JJ.
He's like, you were never going to finish it fast enough. I'm like, I don't care.
I have to know now. And look, he did all that just to not finish it.
Exactly.
Just to spite you. That's really all it was. Just to spite you. So I can just hold this up and be like, I got it from you and I barely touched it. Oh,
that's man. 2 people that took it from you and never really played it. You got twice.
That's true. That's horrible.
Oh no. It's so good. So good. Oh man. Yeah, I don't regret 1 second of it. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys all so much for listening this week to our episode. We appreciate all of you guys. Appreciate the Patreon support. It helps buy games for the podcast so we can talk about them on the show. JJ is being attacked by a freaking
that was a spider. That was a huge camel spider that flies in Nebraska. That's what
that looked like Mothra in front of the webcam. That's ginormous.
You were getting ready to turn into Mothman. Now you goof too.
You could have been bit by the moth. Turned into Mothman.
Oh, look, it's still there.
Yeah,
that's another one. No, that's actually that's a genital herpes. They fly around here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they do that.
That explains the pills.
Oh man. Yeah. If you wanna support us, you can support us at patreon.com/supergamerboys so we can keep making cool content. We would very much appreciate it. And remember, we also have a merch store. I was gonna hold up my mug and I realized I don't have the right mug, but we have mugs. that have Super Gamer Boys on it. We have stickers, we have t-shirts, we got some fun stuff. So sgbstore.com, you get all that, and it's cool and fun and awesome. Rate and review us if you can on your podcast service of choice. Give us that thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel so you know when new videos go live. During the week, you can find us at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys, on Facebook at facebook.com/supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
I am on Twitter and Instagram as well at homeboy.
And JJ, where do you pretend to be?
You can sometimes, occasionally, once every 3 weeks, find me on Twitter and Instagram
That's a
at
little generous.
JJ Purdom.
It's a little generous. Every 3 weeks, you think?
Okay, it's a little more.
He tries.
Every
Come
6
on
to
now.
7 weeks, but I check in occasionally.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for the show.
All right.
it.
Once
I'm
again,
done talking.
thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for putting up with all of Garrett's stuff. And remember, you guys can always check him out on OnlyFans. So for Gushy Garrett Morlang, is that what you're going by now?
No, it's for onlyfans.com/Garrett Morlang.
And for adorable Adrian the Homeboy Holmes. And for myself, sometimes people refer to me as Juicy JJ Purdom. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
All right, let's get out of here. Garrett's got to go look at Toby's big D.
Oh, dang it.